What is up, you guys? Ryan, the Vintage Viking, and I have another book haul. I have a lot. I have 2 full boxes here. I have 4 bags over here. I have 2 boxes in front of me, and I have 6 boxes that got delivered over here. Now, I am not going to go through all of those on this one. That would be just nuts. Oh, I also had, I've recorded this like 5 times. So, I had 4 books that came in from eBay, and I opened them on there and it didn't work. So I have 2 more though that just came in, so I'll try and open those ones at the end, and I'll tell you which ones I opened from before. But I'm not going to do the whole thing because that's just absolutely insane, and we'd be here for like 4 hours, which I don't care. But YouTube algorithm, YouTube video, YouTube watch time, attention spans don't like that. So I'll just go through the 2 boxes that I have right here, and I'll open up the 2 packages that I have from before. So I went down to LA, and I'm not near LA. Where I went to was about an 8.5 hour drive. So it was a little far. I'm never in that area, and they have a store called Book Off that I went to there, and I grabbed a bunch of stuff from that store. I went to a couple Goodwills. I went to just a few other, local thrift stores, and then on the way back, I stopped at a couple places. So I'll go through what I got from that trip. And I may have accidentally mixed some stuff up at this point, but I'll try to remember. And then I'll do a separate video for the other stuff that I picked up yesterday. That was mostly, I got 4 bags from a library sale, and then the 2 boxes that are in front of me was all one bookstore, which is insane, and the stuff they had there was crazy. So I'll have that video coming up sometime soon. So at Book Off, they had a bunch of toys. They had a bunch of records, CDs, Funko Pops. Like the majority of the store was that kind of stuff, and then it was like 2 rows of books, and then like a back wall of just straight clearance, and then the rest of the store was all the other stuff. But I went through and looked through some of that stuff because I'm a nerd in more areas than just books. I love video games. I love movies. I just nerd out on all that kind of stuff. So I have a bunch of Walking Dead Funkos, and so I did not have Michonne yet. So I went ahead and grabbed it. It was $5. That's not bad for a Funko that I don't have to pay shipping on or something, so straight $5. That's good. And then one of my favorite show of all time, I got, and if you don't know who that is, well, I don't know if we can be friends. It's Zoe from Firefly. I'm teasing. Of course we can be friends. Just, I don't know how good a friend. So let me go through the books that I got. I'm going to go through the hardcover trade sizes first because they're kind of sitting in this first box, and then I'll grab the other one. So I think one of the other videos I did before, I showed you guys I had picked up High Rise and Crash. I think I showed you those ones. I wanted to read some J.G. Ballard, and they were on Whitney's channel, Secret Sauce of Storycraft, J.G. Ballard. I think High Rise was on there, and then there's like Drowning World or Drowned World, and I don't remember what the other one is. It's like Dehydrated World, Desert World, Thirsty World. I can't remember the name of the other one, but it has something to do with like no water. All right, so future Ryan here. The book I was thinking of is The Drought by J.G. Ballard, which is pretty close to Dehydrated World. But anyways, Whitney's channel, Secret Sauce of Storycraft, she did a video about the 3 kind of sci-fi people that she wanted to read that were vintage sci-fi, and picked like 3 books from each of them. And so I think those 3 were from J.G. Ballard, who I have not read yet. So I thought, oh, those sound cool, and I want to read those as well. So High Rise is one of them, The Drought, and Drowning World. I also want to read Crash too. So I have all 4 of those now. So looking forward to reading those. Now back to where we were. I also picked up this set, and I don't remember if I got this. I think I got this down in Napa at a different trip, But this, I found all three in one. I have not read any of these yet, and I've heard from like Moyd over at Media Death Cult that he liked the first two, and the third one was kind of okay. I've seen this floating around Booktube for a while, that it's a great series, and I think I heard that they're making a show or movie based off this. I can't remember, one of the two. So I want to get a jump on that and get to reading those. So anyways, I was talking about High Rise and Crash, and I got an additional copy of High Rise. And so I don't really ever see J.D. Ballard, so I figured I might as well grab those when I see it. So that's also there. I also picked up American Gods by Neil Gaiman. And I think I heard from Bob's Books, if you guys know Bob's Books or Heroin Bob, that this book got banned, if I remember correctly. And so I was like, well, I should probably grab it then if it's going to be a little more rare. And I have a paperback edition. That's kind of like the mass market. But this one, hardcover, might go for a little more. People are after it now. It was like $8, and it was on the back clearance shelf, the $2, $1 shelf. And so I brought it up to the front, and I'm like, hey, this is on that clearance shelf. Is it $2 or $1 or whatever? And he's like, no, sticker says 8. I was like, okay. Well, it had water damage, so I was thinking maybe it was clearance. And he goes, oh, yeah, well, if it's got water damage, then $2. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Right on. Cool. I'll take it. So I went ahead and grabbed that. I picked up Patrick Rothfuss, The Slow Regard of Silent Things. I actually have quite a few Rothfuss. I even have a signed one that I picked up from Bookpilled. And I have not read any Rothfuss yet. I know a good friend of mine has said that there's, like some people love him still. Some people hate him because he kind of treats his fans a certain way, and because he won't release the third book in the series that they're waiting for. So it's been like 10 years or something. So I think there's some mixed feelings with Mr. Rothfuss. I also picked up at Book Off The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi. This one was $5.50 there, and I have never found this one out in the wild. I've never even seen it, and this is a Hugo Nebula Award winner. This is the only book I know of from Paolo Bacigalupi, and so I wanted to pick it up because I don't have it. I haven't seen it, so anywhere like to find. So something I'd want to read at some point. Let's see. I grabbed this one was at a thrift store, and I grabbed this one because it's Darcy Coates, The Haunting of Ashburn House. I don't know anything really about Darcy Coates, but I was watching is it Anda Kent the other day, and she was talking about how she has like all of the Darcy Coates set, or a bunch of them, and she was picking some up, and kind of sounded like they'd be good to grab. And since I haven't heard anything and I saw it there, I don't usually find just horror floating around in random sections or at the thrift store, so I went ahead and scooped that up, and hopefully that's a good one. Maybe if there's other ones that are better to start with, I don't know, let me know. I can find, but that's one that was one that I grabbed randomly at a thrift store. Oh, these came in from eBay. Adrian Tchaikovsky. I've never found Tchaikovsky out in the wild. I seriously have not once seen a Tchaikovsky in a thrift store, in a like a used bookstore, anything. Maybe if it was at Barnes and Noble or something, I would have seen it, but no other place like that. And so I went ahead and ordered all the Children of Time series, and I think all of a different series. I can't remember which one, but these two came in so far. Maybe in one of those other two packages that I'll open at the end. Maybe one of those is another one. I don't know. I also picked up two hardcovers: Dan Simmons' Indyman and Rise of Indyman. And speaking of Whitney over at Secret Sauce of Storycraft, she did a video the other day about the covers for Hyperion, the first book, and how, just about the design and how they're you know, kind of weakly designed on the Hyperion cover. How this the character doesn't even have 4 arms in the cover, and here does have 4 arms, here not. So just kind of a neat little video. I have not read any Hyperion yet, although I did start the first book today, so I'm kind of excited for that. And so having started that today, I'm excited to get into, but I also have the other book, I can't remember, I think it's Fall of Hyperion in hardcover, and I'm hoping to someday find the hardcover of Hyperion itself. So anyways, grab those 2. I already have hardcovers of these, so I have to pass those off on Whatnot or something. So keep an eye out. I'll do that at some point. All right, grabbing some more here. Grabbing a few more out of this box. I grabbed a couple of these in the dollar section. Some Dragonlance. Sometimes these are worth money, sometimes they aren't. And figured they were worth grabbing and giving it a shot, checking it out. Can sell them on eBay or something. I grabbed one of the Strugatsky brothers books, The Inhabited Island. I have not read yet A Roadside Picnic yet, which is by the Strugatsky brothers. I did find this one the other day in the Russian translation, which is kind of cool. I speak some Russian, but I'm not fluent enough to read a book. And so I put that up on Whatnot, and someone grabbed that. Hopefully that's a Russian speaker and can read it in the original language, which would be very cool to read one of their books in the original language. The only other one I have is Hard to Be a God right here. It's a DAW paperback. And then, so I went ahead and grabbed it, knowing that I will probably like their writing and their content. So I grabbed vintage science fiction, stories that inspired landmark films. So this has a bunch of stuff in it. Like Philip K. Dick is in it with Total Recall and things like that. So I think Stephen King's is The Lawnmower Man. Forget which one Clive Barker's is, but I also picked up Recursion by Blake Crouch. I don't remember if I have Dark Matter. I might have it. I can't remember. But I was watching on Fit to Be Red's channel the other day. I was rewatching the 210 top videos, and Recursion was higher up on the list than Dark Matter. So if you haven't seen that video, you go watch it. It's just type in 210 and it should pop up, and then subscribe and like and follow, all that fun stuff. But Recursion looks pretty good. It was rated higher, and so I wanted to go ahead and grab that and read through it as well. Now, this is one that you don't find very often. Nancy Kress, Beggars in Spain, hardcover, and I found this at the bookstore in Napa, and I used store credit to get it. It was like $12. And so, which is kind of a lot more than I normally would, but I had store credit, so I went for it. And I've never seen it. Of course, I've never picked it up anywhere, not even paperback, nothing. I've never seen that one time. And I know that this one's kind of a harder one to come by. And I think Bob's Books is looking for this one too, because she's reading through all the Nebula Award winners, and I think this was one of the Nebula winners. If I remember correctly, I'll have to check that. But guess what? I go to the thrift store the next day, and boom, boom, find another copy, of course, hardcover, and this one was $2 instead of $12. This one doesn't have the fancy Mylar wrap on it though, but I have 2 copies now, so maybe I'll send one to Bob if that's one that she needs. So picked up Orson Scott Card's Lost Boys. I've only found this in paperback. It's just went ahead and grabbed it because I think it's one of his horror thriller ones. Andrea Norton, Gods and Androids. I have not heard of this one or read this one. I have tons of Andrea Norton. I usually don't keep the hardcovers because I have so many Andrea Nortons that they just take up a ton of space. So I'll double check, because I go through my Norton sometimes and make sure I don't have duplicates, and usually I'll find 5 or 6 of duplicates that I have. So I'll check and make sure I don't have that one. If not, I'll hang on to it till I find a paperback. Found a copy of Dune, This is the later part of Dune. I have not read any of those ones yet, and I've heard that they're so-so. The newer Dune, sorry. Black Unicorn by Tanith Lee. I don't find Lee too often either, and I have some of her horror stuff. I have some of her horror stuff, and so I pick up Lee when I find Lee. Found 2 different McCormicks, and No Country for Old Men I don't have, but The Road I do have in hardcover. So I have tons of The Road in paperback and hardcover. So I'll be passing The Road along. So ordered on eBay, copy of Heliconia Summer. And what do I find the next day? Heliconia Summer. So I got a hardcover of that. Heliconia Spring, hardcover. I have both of those now, duplicate copies, so I can just pass those along, even though I just purchased them on eBay. I seriously gotta stop buying stuff on eBay because I literally, when I buy it, I find it the next day. No joke. It's kind of insane. Hardcover of The Gripping Hand. This is the sequel to The Mode in God's Eye by Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell. I've heard that this one isn't quite as good, but still good and engaging. Mode in God's Eye is like one of the best science fictions ever. Space opera kind of first encounter things ever. So I also picked up some Donaldson. I have a bunch of Donaldson. I have not read any yet, but I have a lot of hardcovers and a lot of paperbacks. And I was figuring I'd just put sets together and, you know, sell those or whatever. I have sold this one, I think, on eBay by itself. I don't think I've sold any of the other ones by themselves, but worth grabbing. All right, I also got, I'll grab another stack here. Mursaki. It is a novel that is written collaboratively by Paul Anderson, Greg Bear, Gregory Benford, David Brin, Nancy Kress, and Frederick Pohl, and then edited by Silverberg. I have this one in paperback, but I don't have it in hardcover, and it's a pretty awesome book that I'm hoping to read at some point. Neil Stephenson, Cryptonomicon. I've been told by a good friend to read some Stevenson, that it's worth reading. I picked up a couple specific books to read by Stevenson. This is the dude right there. Also picked up Acceptance. This is, I think, the third one in the Annihilation series. And then there's like Authority. Looking up there, I have it sitting up there. But I didn't have this one, so wanted to complete that set. I didn't really like Annihilation, the movie. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like the books, but on paper, the movie seems like something I would completely love. Like, really, like, thoroughly enjoy it. So I'm not sure why I didn't really like it. Maybe I just need to rewatch it. Maybe it's just because I don't like Natalie Portman so much. So maybe because it just didn't really make a lot of sense, or didn't like end well. I don't remember why I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. So I'll have to try again. Anyways, I grabbed this. I've never heard of it. I thought this was freaking awesome. Look at that. What a cover. This was $1 at Book Off in the clearance section. So it does. I read the inside blurb, or like someone's recommendation. Check this out. A love letter to the horror movie genre. If you're a fan of horror fiction, horror movies, or you just want to read a good book, do yourself a favor and pick up Rabbit in Red. Other one says, if you're a horror fan, you need to read this book. So, I don't know what it's about, but it looks freaking cool. So, I'm all for it. Finally, I got Orson Scott Card. Ender in Exile, hardcover. I think that's the second one in the Ender series. I got L. Ron Hubbard and Kevin J. Anderson. I really still don't know why I picked this up. I Pedrito. Pedrito is like caution in Spanish, I think. I don't remember. When I started learning Russian, I had known decent amount of Spanish. And so I started learning Russian. And I couldn't like get the Spanish out and go to Russian. It was like really weird. Every time I couldn't think of the word in Russian, I would just think of the word in Spanish, and I like wanted to say it that way. But after a while, when I go to try now to speak Spanish, I can't think of the Spanish word, and I go back to the Russian, and I keep like, it's like one has to replace the other. I don't have one of those brains, I guess, that can do like 9 languages or whatever. So, anyways, I think if I remember right, Perdito is caution or something like that, but I'm probably wrong. Found this in a free pile. The dust jacket was in a milk crate box, like a couple milk crates down. Then the rest of the book was in another one. And I was like looking at it and I'm going, oh man, I found the book, no dust jacket. And I look over a couple down, I'm like, there's the dust jacket. So put them together. Free book, Peter F. Hamilton. And I have not read any Hamilton. I've heard mixed reviews about Pandora's Star, which I think is probably the most popular one by Hamilton. So Pandora's Star is a good one to look out for, or Judas Unchained. And so I think this one, though, is the third in the Void. Is it Void series? Void trilogy. Yeah, so I think this is the third in the Void trilogy. So that's all the hardcovers I got. Okay, should I open one package that I got? Yeah, why not? All right, I'm gonna do one. This came in from either eBay or something like that. Oh, yes, okay. I know zero about this book. Negative Space by B.R. Yeager. This is, I think I saw this on a comment or something from Moyd's channel, Media Death Cult. I think I saw this in the comment section that someone said, you got to read this. I think that's where I saw it. I can't remember for sure. I saw it and it was being raved about, like it's so good, you got to read it. It's worth reading. This is a 2020 book, and that it's some sort of horror, sci-fi horror of some kind. So, yay. That looks exciting. I'll probably read more about it. Oh, we don't want these yet. I'll do the next one. I'll do it at the end. Just build that suspense. I'm like the worst. I'm like the worst video maker of YouTube videos there is. I'll open this one because this is something else that I ordered, and that goes with the other nerdy stuff. I got a little box here. I know it's a Funko Pop of some kind. It's a real good one. Real good. Building more suspense. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Good old Ripley. Ripley in a spacesuit. 40th anniversary edition. That's awesome. The other one in the set is just looks like a regular old xenomorph. That I don't think it's that one. I have some right here behind me, and I think that one is a different one. I think this is like a bigger one. So I'll have to get that one at some point too. But that can go to my Funko collection. I have a bunch of Funkos. I don't display them all. A lot of them are just for reselling. The ones I do have are rarer ones, or ones that have to do with my favorite type of stuff. So Aliens, Walking Dead, Firefly, things like that. I do have a Bob Ross right there. That's kind of cool. So anyway. All right, ready for paperbacks? I'm ready. So this is still that first, just the things I found that one weekend. So part of those boxes. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, I'll try and move fast. Grabbed an Orson Scott card, Red Prophet, just a resellable thing. John Coyne, Fury. This is a horror, Warner Brothers horror, or Warner Books horror, excuse me. Just Robert Jordan. I have almost the full set over there that I'm putting together to resell. the whole set of Robert Jordan, the whole set of these, if you have all, I think there's 8. If you have all 8 of these, they can do pretty good. Each individual one's like $4 or $5, but all of them together at one time is a lot more. So it's kind of worth doing, hanging on to if I find them for 50 cents or $1 or whatever. Tommy Knocker, Stephen King. I grab Stephen King anytime I see Stephen King because it always sells. I have most everything in hardcover. By like all my stuff's been converted over to hardcover by King, so I'm not really keeping too many myself. There's very few still that I need from King, so I'm looking though, but there's not many more that I need. Subhuman Unit 51 novel. I heard the other day from a few people in the comments that the Area 51 books were good, so I figured, hey, might as well. Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough, A Flame to Byzantium, and that is got like an embossed raised print there. Yarbrough has some crazy books, and I have not read any yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Look at this name of this book, and careful, PG-13 warning. Mime. The Mime. That sounds fantastic. It's a Jove. I can't read that. Something suspense. I picked these ones up. One is a pocket horror, and then the other one is labeled as fiction, Warner Fiction. But the first one, this is the first one I think that was written. Audrey Rose, excuse me, Frank DeFilita, and then this is I think the second, or just a different book, but by the same author. And this one is labeled as a pocket horror. This one's labeled as Warner Fiction. So some of those horror books do show up as fiction. God Emperor of Dune, Frank Herbert. This is just a resell thing. Ender's Shadow. I have 5 billion Ender's books. Like, I have a lot of Ender's books. A. Bertram Chandler. I have this whole set except for I think 3 and 4, which I got, and I believe 4 is in here also. The Last Gamble, and that is an Onyx horror. That's Gene Paiva. My Paperback from Hell collection's slowly growing, so I'm working on making a list of Paperback from Hell stuff based on the book and putting everything in an Excel sheet so that I can check off what I have. Also have a printable list or a downloadable list for someone to look at so they can do the same thing and find out if they have every book. I looked everywhere. There was no list anywhere I could find, so I'm working on one. Bloodthirst by L.A. Freed, and it is a pinnacle horror. Robert Vardaman, Jade Demons, The Crystal Clouds. I have a good amount of Vardaman. I have a lot of these, the Jade series. Another Vardaman here as well. And one more Vardaman. I picked up a bunch of those. All right, let's see what else we got. We got Dream Watch. And it is a Playboy Paperbacks. The Darkling Wind, Somtau Sukkaritkul. I know somebody was after these. I think Odd and Dafnadil on Whatnot was after these. So I grabbed a couple in here, I know. So I will get those up on Whatnot, because I think he was trying to get every single one or something like that of those. I don't remember if it was just the timescapes or all of them. So I went ahead and grabbed them anyway. The Wereling, and this is a leisure horror. David Robbins. And I think we're okay. I think maybe slight PG-13 warning here. I don't know. The Night Church by Whitley Strieber. pocket horror. And a lot of these have the similar condition issue where they're like got some leaning or some bowing to the spine, creasing, things like that. That's kind of typical for older vintage horror. I don't, you know, that's almost always the case. I found Robert J. Sawyer rollback. I don't know anything about Sawyer. Looked good, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Night Watch by Sergei Lukayenko. And if you've seen the old movies, Night Watch and Day Watch, these are the books. I think there's a larger series, but I have the first three I found the other day, and I went ahead and bought them. And then, of course, I find one at the thrift store every time. So, Best of Evil. I found this also at the thrift store. Eric Wilson, I don't know anything about it. It just looked like a horror book, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I think it was 50 cents or something like that for paperbacks. I found a Folio Society book. These are well-made, super well-made books. This one is Sherson's Progress by Siegfried Sassoon. And, you know, the ones that are like sci-fi, everybody buys, like if they have a really fancy collection, they're super well done. They have a nice case to them. So I know this was $1, so I know this is going to go and resell for more than that. Look at this awesomeness. That is fantastic. Simon R. George, The Forgotten. I mean, that just looks amazing to me. And that is a zebra horror. Probably one that is from, probably one of the paperbacks from Hell, I would guess. Then, this is one of the ones that I opened out of the package. Now, I ordered 5 rare, this is kind of dumb of me, but I thought it'd be fun. I ordered 5 rare books without being able to see the picture on eBay. So I had heard, I think from, I think it was from the Booktube and maybe Slime and Slashers also. I don't remember which one was talking about, or both of them were talking about it maybe. But that it had been like a buddy read or something like that. And it was Pin by Andrew Niederman. And I did not have it. It sounded so good. And I wanted to read it. And I went to look for it, and it had one with no cover available. It was just a blank white space on eBay. I was like, oh boy. And they weren't that cheap either. So I was like, well, I'm going to give it a shot. So I ordered 5 different books that I'd been after. All of them had the blank white cover. And I was just hoping that it would be the right cover. And well, it is. This one ended up being the right cover. So Pin by Andrew Niederman. And it has got the peekaboo cover. If you don't know, we call these peekaboo around here. Around these parts. So peekaboo. Awesome cover. The way that this book was described sounded so good, and I can't wait to read it. And it was just sounded thoroughly enjoyable. It is in very good shape. It only has some light edge wear on the spine and some little bits of corner wear, but otherwise it's in really good shape. It's still got crisp, nice pages, and I'm super happy with that one. So thank you to you guys for the recommendation. If you happen to be watching, if you guys don't know, please go sub and follow and do all that fun stuff with Booktube and Slime and Slashers. There's so many good Booktube things out there. Another guy I'd like to recommend is Cliff's Dark Gems. Awesome. I don't think I have any books related to him right now, but if I'm going to be tagging a bunch of people, might as well tag him too. So Cliff's great. Does some awesome horror stuff as well. So it's fun to get the word out, find other people, and please recommend to me other people that are great to watch, because I love I'm always constantly wanting more and more content when it comes to sci-fi and horror mostly. So Killing Frost, I found an additional copy, and this is Christopher Leach. I'm pretty sure I think I have this one on my bedside waiting to be read after I get through the next like 2 or 3. I can't remember if it's there or if it's up on my TBR shelf. It's around somewhere though, but it's going to be a read coming up soon. So, decent. It's got some good leaning to it though. So that one is will be up on Whatnot. So we were talking the other day on Whatnot, and people were after Where the Late Sweet Bird Sang by Kate Wilhelm, and I have a copy right there that's on my ear TBR, and I think it's a fairly rare one to find, but I came across the second copy. So I don't know if Bob's Books needs this one too for the Nebula. I don't remember, but what's crazy is I also found another copy in the Timescape version. So finding two of that book right after we just talked about it, and I was like, I don't know if I have any more, and I come across two right away. So I will put those or make those available. I also found a Kate Wilhelm, A Sense of Shadow, in the Timescape version also. And this was one of the other Tchaikovskys that came in. It is, Shadows of the App. That's the book series that I ordered. I ordered all of them. Just went ahead and got them all. And this is fantasy more than anything else. And I'm not a fantasy reader. But Tchaikovsky is so praised for his writing that I just went for it. And I'm going to try and see how I love it or not love it, whatever. I'm assuming I'm going to love it. As you can tell by how I just said I'm going to love it. All right, and this one also came in. This was a Whatnot purchase from Dafnadil, which I mentioned earlier. Odd, Anchorite, and Dafnadil have Whatnot. I don't think there's YouTube, but there's Whatnot. If you're on Whatnot, you can follow their channel so that you can get some awesome books. I think there's a Gene Wolfe auction coming up if you're into Gene Wolfe. But I grabbed a Clive Barker, The Thief of Always, and I just read Hellbound Heart last month for the first time, so I'm stoked to read some more Clive Barker. So that's on the list of the ones that I want to read coming up. Here's some more Somtau, and I don't know if I'm Sukaritkul that's the best I can do. Hopefully it's semi close. Here's another. This one is Pocket Horror. Check it out. His art is cruelty, and the crescendo is death. Symphony. That looks awesome. Adrian Savage. That looks fantastic. Monitors by Keith Laumer. And I just read a Laumer book last month. I enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to reading some more Laumer coming up. Deliver Us from Evil. This is a bantam horror. Check out that cover. I may have just seen this on another video too as I was scrolling through YouTube. Like somebody holding up like they were going to review. I don't know. It was a thumbnail or something. I don't know who it was, but so I went back and found it. It was this thumbnail from a continue watching this video clip that I had, and it's from Slime and Slashers from one of her book hauls. Good luck finding it. I'll go back and I'll find it at some point. Gloria Murphy, Blood Ties. I'm like, seriously, I'm constantly on the lookout for new channels, new content to watch about horror, about sci-fi, like, because I sit here and I have my Xbox on and I just play YouTube while I'm working, so I always have YouTube running. This is a Lynx horror. I have not seen too many Lynx horrors. Here's some more John Coyne that I was mentioning earlier, Child of Shadows, and this one is a Warner horror. If you don't know, you can tell right here in the top corner, you can see that very well. It'll tell you, and you can look for that iconic zebra symbol there. Like I just mentioned, there's Warner. What else did I find? There's a bantam. You can look for that rooster. Lynx, which I hadn't seen too often. There's a Lynx one. There's Pinnacle. There's different ones that you can come to recognize. Zebra is probably a very common one, but there is also zebra fiction, zebra suspense, and so on. So zebra horror is what you want to look out for if you're looking specifically for horror. Although some of the horror books are classified as fiction. It'll just say zebra fiction. Even though we might consider it a horror book, it's labeled that way. So anyways, this is Ronald Kelly, Fear. I have another Ronald Kelly book. I think it's on Paperbacks from Hell, if I remember right. And it's got the big old like Komodo dragon like coming over a mountain or something like that. Whatever it is. Looks awesome. Check this out. Hex. That is a cool freaking cover. Super cool cover. And this is a Playboy Press. That's awesome. I found another copy of Dan Simmons' Endyman, Rise of Endyman, but this is the paperback version. I found a Jove horror, so Black Horizon, and Robert Masello. All right, I'm gonna move some of these before they all fall over. All right, and just a few more of ones that I got. Ender's Game. I gotta stop picking up Orson Scott Card. I have a massive stack of card. Same with Star Wars. I have an entire shelf of just Star Wars. Kind of crazy. Mind War by Gene Snyder. And this one is at Playboy Press also. And like a perfect placement on the sticker, huh? Isn't that just wonderful? Like, really? Really? And what's the deal with cutting corners? I don't get bookstore things like this. There's so many that are cut, and then usually the stamp is right there, which is like, what? Do you really need to advertise your bookstore to the world? You know, like by you know, this book was bought at Bookstop. That's so silly. Like everybody's going through, where was this book purchased? Bookstop, I gotta go there. Anyways, sorry. Got a little carried away. William Blankenship, Brotherly Love. This is a pocket horror. Unfortunately, this one has, well, it's got somebody's book. This book belongs to the mushroom mouse of some kind there, but it is separating on the spine. Now, something that works really, really good for me, I'll just show you now since we're on the subject. Shoe goo, surprisingly enough, works super good. It's very strong smelling, but you put that right in there, and if you fold it up and just seal it up, like, you know, put the goo in there and hold it together and make sure it's not going to like flop out. It will it'll seal on there and hold just like regular book binding glue, and it will not mess anything up, and it will just be nice and tightly bound again. So that's something that's really a good trick that I use all the time. I found another DAW, M.A. Foster Waves. I pick up these DAWs anytime I see them at a thrift store. I don't usually find them at a thrift store, but when I do, I will grab them. How could I pass that up? A super vintage copy of Bambi. Someone's got to want that somewhere. Might be worth something, I don't know. Arthur C. Clarke. This is The City and the Stars. Really good shape, super clean. I have way too much Clarke also. James B. Johnson, another DAW. That one's $4.27. Like I said, I pick up DAWs whenever I see them. Oh, here's one of those other Bertram Chandlers. We're almost done. Bertram Chandler, there's one of the other versions of that, or other part of that series. Found some Tad Hamilton, and I have a bunch of these already. I've not read any. They're super fat boys, and I know that they're decent sellers. So Peter F. Hamilton, there's another one. This is The Dreaming Void. So is that one or two? I don't know. Let's see. Doesn't tell me. Okay, so that might be part of that series. Check this guy. You know what? I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna save that one for the end. All right. T.M. Wright, The Waiting Room. It's not crazy. Don't worry. Tor horror. Oh, I don't think we showed the Tor one really yet. So it's got that like black horse looking dragon. Oh no, it's a dragon. I think it's a Dargan, as Bob would say. Philip Jose Farmer, The Dark Design. I gotta read those at some point. Star Wars, The New Order. Like I said, I have way too much in the Star Wars section. I have a ridiculous amount. The Awakening, this is Pocket Horror. And this is John Russo. If I didn't show Pocket, there's Pocket. Alright, these two are pretty cool looking. Darklings, Ray Garton. Pinnacle Books. And that's a Pinnacle Book Horror, it says. I just like how, like, this kind of stuff, the embossed raised thing is so cool. I mean, do they really do that anymore in any books? And then this one too, the raised wings. Check it. It's hard to tell in this. I mean, Can you really tell? But it's cool. Whisper of Wings. And this is Stephen Ray Fulgham. So super cool. That's all I found at a couple thrift stores and my trip to LA. I think I have one more bag to open up of what came in the mail. So we'll see what's in it. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And recommend if you got other people that you watch that are, you know, awesome booktubers, even if they're not awesome, even if they're just slightly, oh snap, okay, so here's what, oh man, all right, so here's one of the ones that I risked it for the biscuit and bought at, I think it was $25, and I didn't know whether the cover would be the right cover or not. Oh man, I'm so stoked for this. I'm gonna try and get the sticker off without tearing it. And is it gonna work? Wait for it. Yes, it is. Okay. Wait for it. All right. Did you see it? You didn't see it, did you? Okay, this is a Guild Press. Risked it without knowing what the cover would look like and whether it was going to be the right cover or not. And check it out. Oh my gosh. Bloodworm. Oh snap. John Helkin. Dude, look at that cover. Do you see that? It was literally a white page when I ordered it, not knowing whether it was the right one or not. That is so freaking fantastic. Oh man, I can't wait. I think Slime and Slither I also ordered. Okay, this one did not come the way I wanted it to, I think. I think this is the one that has the, yeah, but I got the hardcover version, so that's cool. Killer by Peter Tonkin. I think I wanted the paperback, but that's okay. I don't know why I accidentally ordered the hardcover, but still, that's pretty freaking awesome. I've wanted to read it. It is one of the ones that was reprinted by Paperbacks from Hell, or reprinted as a paperback from Hell, sorry. So that's going to be a good read. That's awesome. I'm so stoked for that. So stoked for that. I can't believe that. I was thinking, man, there's no way it's going to be the right cover. There's no way it's going to be like in good shape. Look at it. It's in such good shape. It's barely even worn. I mean, it has a slight creasing and a slight lean to it. Don't put it against my face. My face is all out of lean. All right. But yeah, that's pretty dope. Oh man. And it's not, no, I'm just kidding. It's not signed. That would have been something, huh? All right. I'm out of here. Appreciate you guys. I'll do another video for the other stuff. I'm excited to get through that stuff as well and just have some fun unpacking it with you. And I have those 6 boxes that came in, so maybe I'll do a live with those. I don't know. So we can hang out and unbox them together. I don't know. Might be fun. Let me know if that's something you like. If you made it this far, appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for stopping by. And I will catch you on the next one.